Well, Sixers Nation, we have breaking news. That is right. James Harden has officially inked the deal. He is returning to the Sixers on a 2-year contract. We will break it all down. Let's go.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into the show, Philly Take with RB. I'm RB. Be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. You don't want to miss any of the upcoming content. Just going about our normal Wednesday, and boom, out of nowhere, James Harden decides to strike. That is right. You can take a deep breath because it is officially done. The great offseason continues. In my opinion, this has been an A offseason, and Daryl Morey gets his boy to take a pay cut, and now we just have to go out and perform. It looks like things are pretty much done at this point, but just as of a few minutes ago, the details coming out. Woj putting out a tweet here saying, free agent James Harden has agreed on a 2-year, $68.6 million deal, including a second-year player option to return to the Philadelphia 76ers. More on that from Woj. He says, Harden declining the $47.4 million player option for the 2022-23 season has allowed the Sixers to use the full mid-level exception on free agent PJ Tucker and the biannual exception to sign Daniel House. These are things we already knew. Harden took the pay cut. He helped. He sacrificed. And he said at the end of the season that he was willing to do whatever it took to help get this Sixers team to the next level. That is exactly what he did. But really, we were sitting here waiting and wanting to see what the contract details were, right? Things were processing. You know, we just wanted to see them, iron everything out, which they have been doing the last couple of weeks, in addition to all this stuff, right? Harden dropping a new wine, brand and all this stuff. So he's been busy, man. But, hey, they finally get it done. Little more from Woj, and this is really the meat and potatoes of what we were waiting to see. Adrian Wojnarowski tweeting that Harden will make $33 million for the 2022-23 season and has the player option for $35.6 million in 23-24. Sources tell ESPN he can move right back into free agency next summer and negotiate another new deal. Now, I have a feeling that the initial reaction from some people who finally actually realize this are going to say, oh, wait, he can go back into free agency. No, see, we can't do that. We can't have it both ways. This was a team-friendly deal, in my opinion, a mutually beneficial deal, but I think it really helps out the Sixers because the fact that Harden can go into free agency next year, and I've referenced this multiple times, it means that he's most likely going to opt out next year. I'm not going to speak too far into the future. Anything can happen, but really his expectation is that he wants to play really, really well. He wants to opt out and sign a longer-term deal to extend his career. He's only 33 years old. He wants one more big deal, whether that is from the Philadelphia 76ers or from another team. Now, where that helps out the Sixers, number one, say James Harden comes back and he doesn't really play up to par and things are just trending down and they're not right. Now, do I expect that to happen? No, I think he's going to be better. I think everybody's going to be better. I think we've improved the roster. I think things are going to be good. But say that happens, right? Well, the Sixers could essentially let him walk or do some kind of sign and trade. Tobias Harris will also be a free agent, right, after 2024. So it's kind of just like, the Sixers within a couple years could have a ton of cap space and, they could essentially just build around Tyrese Maxey and see what happens with him and Joel Embiid. But really where you're at right now is this is going to be the most motivated version of James Harden. He wants to come out. He wants to prove everybody wrong. He's been saying the right things. He wants to win a championship. I said it the other day. This is the best opportunity in their entire career for Joel Embiid and James Harden to win a championship. You have upgraded the roster. You have put all these guys together. They now have an offseason to mesh together. They have a training camp to go through together, not just in the middle of a season at a trade deadline. Boom, it's a new lineup. You have to figure everything out on the fly. No, they actually get some time to work with each other. They're already in the gym. You get a guy like PJ Tucker who has those rounds with James Harden in Houston and bring back some familiarity, bring some toughness. You upgraded the team in the ways that you wanted to. And essentially, Harden ends up signing for $33 million this year. He could have had $47.4 million on his previous player option. He declined it. He took a $14 million pay cut to help the good of the team. That is what a winner does. That is what a guy who wants to win does. Now, again, he needs to come out, he needs to get his body right, and he needs to show up and be a much better version of James Harden. Because if he does that, combine it with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, some of the other guys on this squad, we could make some noise in the Eastern Conference. He has to show up on the floor and do it. But as of right now, to this point in the offseason, he has pushed every right button. Daryl Morey deserves a ton of credit for making these things happen, for working with James Harden. Everybody deserves credit, and things are trending in the right direction. But I'm happy about this. And Austin Krell on Twitter, shout out to my guy Austin Krell, quickly put some calculations. I didn't even have time as this just came out a few minutes ago. But he says, by my calculations, the Sixers have approximately $4.76 million left below the tax apron. Roster moves they can make. One, taking back 125% of what they send out in a trade plus $100K, or signing 2 veteran minimum contracts. They'd have to clear roster space. We know that there's a lot of guys. We're actually going to be talking very soon about who we believe will make the roster, but another trade could happen, maybe a Thibault or a guy like that, Korkmaz, and you're going to have to end up clearing some roster spots. But hey, maybe you try to bring in another veteran, another guy on a minimum, bring some more experience, and really make that full push this year. But man, so far, based off of where we were at the end of the season, how we were feeling about things to now, I think things have gotten incrementally better, and they're only going to keep getting better. I think the Sixers continue to push the right buttons. And I think James Harden really made the best decision for the team. And I think he's trying to make a statement with this. I think he's trying to make a statement, saying the right things. He knows, he hears, he sees what has been said about him over the last year, over the last 2 years. And I truly believe he wants to win a championship, right? There are a lot of times where people question, what does this guy really want? He's living the great life. He's partying with the celebrities, the rappers. He's been an MVP. He's a top 75 player. He's done everything, man. But the one thing he hasn't done is win a championship. Joel Embiid, also, we want to see him win a championship. There's no one more we want to see win than Joel Embiid. Can James Harden, can Joel Embiid, and an uprising Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris and the rest of the guys added, make this team better? I mean, even a lot of people, what they're saying about this team is that they've had a sneaky good offseason. And I think when you put everything into perspective, you got to feel somewhat confident going into this season. You still need more. You need more work. Things still have to be ironed out. We have our concerns, but right now, this Sixers team is on top of it, man. And James Harden officially inks the deal and makes the selfless decision. And that's just a guy I want to ride for, man. That's a guy I want to run through a wall for. You heard what he said the other day, man. He said, I'm all about the best of the team. I have to come out here and do what I want to do. I told Daryl, upgrade the roster, give me whatever's left. Well, here's whatever's left. And in fact, you still have a little flexibility to go out and make something else happen. So, I think this is the best shot. If I had to give a little bit of a bold take, I think looking at the previous rosters, looking at who was here before, I actually think that this Sixers squad, as of right now, going into 2022-23, is the best shot for Joel Embiid to win a championship. Is the best roster that we have had for him, James Harden, and these cats to go out here and compete for an NBA championship. But those are just my thoughts, man. I want to hear from you. How are you feeling about this team? What are your expectations? Really, what does this mean to you? Are you happy that Harden's back? And if he ends up playing well, what could happen next offseason, right? He could end up going somewhere else. We could potentially execute a sign trade, but that's all the way down the road. We need to see how he comes out, how he prepares, because on top of what is being said, I think the most important thing to see right out of the gate is what kind of shape is he in? What is his mindset like? Is he going to adapt? Is he going to work on other parts of his game, knowing that he's not going to be the once seen MVP box office James Harden in Houston, man? He's got to adapt and learn how to play around Joel Embiid and these guys, and he showed glimpses of it, and I think he's able to do it. I cannot wait to see how this plays out. We have a lot to talk about. probably going to be quiet for a little while, man, now that this is done. But you never know with Daryl Morey. He always could have something up his sleeves, man. Those are just my thoughts. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Give me all your thoughts down below on the signing. How do you feel about it? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like always, I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.